Hello, everybody. Good evening. We are live on the Smashing the Glass Facebook page. It is evening here in London. I know for a lot of you across the pond, it is still afternoon, and we've got people watching all over the world. So we're saying hi to you from every single time zone. Good evening, good afternoon, good morning. I am here split screen today on our Facebook page with the devastatingly handsome Jack, just to my right or to my left, depending on how this mirror image thing works. The founder and creative director of EYI Loves, which stands for everything. What is it, Jack?
Everything yours, I love.
Oh, I love that. Everything yours, I love. Isn't that a great title? So Jack is the man, the expert when it comes to all things wedding stationery and, of course, Jewish wedding stationery. He's designed lots of stationery suites for Jewish weddings, and we want to pick his brain today to help you all on your stationery journey with everything you need to know. It's really, really exciting for me because, believe it or not, in 6 years of running Smashing the Glass, I have never done a big Facebook Live all about Jewish wedding stationery, which is kind of crazy because this is my wedding invitation, which I designed. I am a big stationery lover, and in fact I had my own design and branding business for 11 years before I founded Smashing the Glass. My whole background is design and branding. I love design, I love stationery, and it's obviously something we always get asked about as well. So it's about time, and I couldn't think of a better guest to navigate the stationery waters for us than lovely Jack. Jack and I have known each other for years. He's obviously a Smashing the Glass recommended vendor. We have many very happy couples going through Jack and EYI Loves with their wedding stationery. I know several of our Brides Club members are working with Jack as we speak. Hello everyone in Brides Club. And also we've got some special Brides Club gifts and things to talk about coming at the end, haven't we, Jack?
Yes.
So before we dive in, I'm going to tell everyone what we're going to be covering, and then maybe you'll give a brief introduction about you and your expertise to start with. So we're going to be covering everything from special layouts for Jewish weddings, anything you need to be aware of, the sort of Hebrew texts. Do we need Hebrew texts? And what kind of wording needs to go on? We're going to be talking about timings. When should you order your stationery? How far in advance? What about thank you cards? What about RSVPing? And do we like online RSVPing, or do we still think it's lovely to do the old-fashioned little cards, which is what I did back in 2013? Jack's also going to be covering, the hottest trends and styles at the moment in stationery, just in case that's important to you. I always say I like to know the trends, but I don't want to be driven by the trends. I want you to choose something that means something to you, but I always like to know what's hot, what's new. We're going to talk about styling and little kind of extra little things you can do to make your stationery give it that wow factor if that's what you want. Have I left anything out, Jack, about what we're going to be covering?
Numbers, wording, lots of questions that we often get asked. You cover trends.
Numbers is a good one as well. For instance, get asked.
The questions we get asked most, I've kind of thought tonight that what we would cover. Yeah. Things that everybody kind of comes on and asks you for.
Yeah, we're so delighted to have you. Thank you for coming on today. So, I obviously love you. I'm a big fan of you. All our Smashing the Glass brides love you, but I'm sure there'll be some people watching who maybe are not familiar with you and your background and what you do. So if you can just really briefly tell everyone a little bit before we dive in.
Of course, yes. So, as Karen said, I'm Jack, one half of EYI Love. I run the business with my wife, Lorna. Lorna's our creative director in terms of like brand new designs and kind of new work. I do a lot more work just directly with our customers. I'm in production. I do a lot of our actual making. I think it's something that over time, my role in the business has evolved immensely. I did a lot of the accounting and the kind of background stuff, and now I do an awful lot more of the front-facing stuff as time has kind of went on with now with a few children. So my wife's at home a lot more, and I'm in here a lot more. So we've been going now for, of course, I'm trying to remember, for 10 years married, in a few days.
Congratulations.
Lorna ran the business. Thank you. Lorna ran the business since we started. We basically made our own wedding invitations. That's how we got going. And about 6 years ago, I kind of came into EYI Love and started working full time. Thought, why not? Let's have a go and see how it goes. And haven't looked back since. It's been great, and we've really loved it. I love what I do. I'm very passionate about making stationery. I'm passionate about working with our brides and our grooms, and most of the time, just I love making stationery. I love what we do. I love the process and the art of creating something for someone. I love it.
It really shines through in the work. And Jack is based, and Lorna, they're based in Scotland, but a lot of their clients are London based. And obviously we featured weddings on Smashing the Glass with stationery that you've designed for American couples as well.
Yep.
So wherever you're watching in the world, Jack can do anything at any time for anybody. I shouldn't have said that, should I?
Yeah, well, we've tried most things. Couriers help.
And I must tell everybody this is, a really amazing opportunity. We've got Jack here. He is the expert on all things wedding stationery and Jewish wedding stationery. Please use the comments box to ask your questions. We want to hear from you. We've compiled the content tonight from questions that we tend to hear over the recent months and weeks, but we want to answer your individual questions. If you've got a specific question about a specific date or what to do or what to write on the invitation or what time something should have, please use the comments box. We want to help. And if you're watching on replay, do the same. I'll try and tag Jack and get Jack to answer if you're watching on replay. So don't hesitate. And hi to all our replay friends. And type replay if you are watching on replay, because I love hearing from my replayers as well. I know not everyone can watch live. So let's dive in. Let's start talking about something that always comes up. Always. Let's start talking about timings. When do we need to start thinking about our stationery, and when do we need to order what? And do we order everything at once, or do we order it sort of stage by stage?
Sure. I suppose the ordering process is an interesting one. So normally we would be contacted by couples. They want to know what kind of overall price for absolutely everything to do with the wedding day or with the wedding in general, but you would get the quote for everything, but you certainly wouldn't work on everything at one time. If you're opting for a save the date, we would do this first. Normally, save the dates are sent out about 12 to 9 months before. We recommend if you want to send something out, probably give us about 2 months. Get in touch with us and give about 2 months. So you're thinking probably 14 months if you're sending it out 12 months before, or kind of 11 months if you're sending out 9 months before.
So when you say sending out 9 months before, people send their invitations 9 months before?
Save the date, sorry, this is the save the date.
Oh, right. So if you've got like a year to go, you send your save the dates 10 months to go. Sorry.
Yeah, so mostly 9 months, 12 to 9 months. Past that point, you're getting into early invitation territory. So if you're thinking save the date and you're thinking past, if the kind of 9 months is passed towards the wedding date, then you can still do it, of course. There's no have-tos, there's no musts, but we would tend to start thinking about maybe just getting your invitation sorted and out earlier than what you might have if you sent a save the date. Invitations tend to be sent about 8 to 6 weeks with a 64-week RSVP. Obviously now though we live in a very different time, and we're doing weddings at the moment for the start of the year. We're also doing weddings kind of mid to the end of the year. It does depend on if you're getting married abroad. It also depends on I suppose even your guests, even if you're UK based and your wedding's UK based, if you've got lots of guests who aren't, you maybe want to give them a little bit more time, get them time to get flights booked and accommodation booked, etc. But normally what we'd say is probably no earlier than 6 months before would you be looking to send out an invitation, really. I think you can get to the point sometimes where it's so early that you run the risk, I suppose, of maybe people thinking, oh, I've got loads of time to deal with that or sort it, and putting it, and it gets kind of lost in the busyness of life. So we would sort of tend to say 6 months would be the earliest you would tend to send a save the date, an invitation, unless it's a destination wedding. Then you really want to give people time. If it's a big ask, if they're travelling afar, there's maybe quite a big spend involved in getting there, and then maybe earlier. That could sometimes be about a year before.
I've heard not often, but some cases with destination weddings where even when you send save the dates, sometimes more old-fashioned guests won't book their flights till they get a proper stiffy in the post, because they're like, well, they might call it off, right? You know, they want the actual invitation. So can we just clarify again, because it is something I get asked all the time. I know it's just a guideline, but can you tell us again, say you've got a year to go, kind of for a home, save the date and invitation, ideal kind of timing, ideal in inverted commas, and a destination wedding, ideal timing, save the date. Of course. Yeah.
So a save the date for like a UK wedding would be 12 months to 9 months. An invitation would tend to be no earlier than about 6 months. That's the ideal. If you're getting married abroad, we've sent invitations, save the dates out about 18 months before, with about a 12-month date for the actual invitation itself. Obviously, everybody has slightly different preferences and stuff, but that would be kind of my guidelines at a time scale. If you were wanting me to give time to get things out, that would be what I would advise.
I know that your service is really personal, and it's why a successful business. So I know you like to work with your couples on their individual timelines, but it's just a general question that we always get asked, and we're trying to address these. Also, just for anyone that's having a shorter timeline, I had a 6-month engagement, got married at in my hometown. We sent a save the dates straight away, just because we want digital save the dates, just because we wanted the people make the wedding, and we wanted everyone to come that could come, that we wanted to come. So that's the thing with the save the dates, you don't send them out to every single person on your guest list, do you? You just send them out to your people that you really want there. Am I right? Or what's your take on it?
Yeah, I mean, normally save the dates would be sent out to day guests. So if you're doing day and evening, you would only send them out to day guests. Some people certainly do choose to send a save the date to maybe the closest family and friends, so the people that absolutely have to be there. But normally, a save the date would only be done for day guests. Anyone for the evening would just wait till they get the invitation.
Yes, because there could be some misconception there.
Yeah, and to touch on your point about closer timelines, if you were close, say you're getting married within 4 or 5 months, then what I would say is probably, unless you're doing a digital save the date, we would sort of recommend get in touch, get your details for an invitation, and we would sort of share with you timelines. We normally say from a design confirmation, we would say about 10 working days to get the stationery printed and in your hands. About that, obviously depending on the time of year. So anything's feasible. If you were really short notice and you really did want us to do your stationery, and you're thinking, I've missed those deadlines, those timelines, then I would still say get in touch and we can advise when we would likely be able to create something for you. And if the time scale works, then perfect, we could start that for you.
Rachel Flax is watching and she says, "Hi Jack, awesome company."
Hi Rachel.
We love Rachel. Rachel's one of our Bride Club members, and she's an incredible wedding planner, and she's actually doing a special Facebook Live for our Brides Club members in December, and we're featuring her wedding on Smashing the Glass as well. So, Rachel.
We love working with Rachel. She was great.
Well, hope we might get a sneak peek of her stationery later.
I think so, yes.
Ooh, okay. Now, what about on the day stationery? First of all, can you tell us what on the day stationery is normally ordered? And things like thank you cards as well, should that be in the mix too?
Of course, yeah. So obviously you're on the day stationery. Anything you need on the day of your wedding. On the day stationery tends, for us personally, we tend to want the wording for that 4 weeks before. We obviously, that's really just trying to strike the balance of you getting your guest list back to us, so obviously table plans and knowing where people are going to sit, and kind of the 4 weeks before, it really allows us time to design, and it also allows us time to get everything into production. A lot of the type of printing we do is foil based, so it's not we can't turn it around super quick, so we've got to have a little bit of time to actually get everything in, designed and then printed and processed. We try and go to print 2 weeks before your wedding, basically to allow, if anything happens, something breaks down, something goes wrong with something, we've got that extra week that, it very, very rarely happens, but it gives us that little bit of breathing room just to get stuff made up again if anything happens or there's a delay with something. But normally you're on the day stationery about 4 weeks before your wedding is when you would want to get in touch with us and give us all your information.
And what items can you just tell people so in case they don't miss anything? Like, obviously menus, escort cards, anything else, benches for Jewish weddings, anything else?
Of course, yeah. So items you tend to have table plan or escort cards, menu, table names, benchers. Obviously a big thing now is signs.
Signs, of course.
Signage.
Yes.
If you're wanting to have signs that point you to different places of the venue, say for example your wedding spread across quite a few rooms or it's quite a big venue, you might want to guide people to where they can go and what's available. We did a wedding recently and the bride had thought of everything. A place to charge your phone, a place to
brilliant.
Honestly, blankets if you were cold. Just everything you could think of, she'd sort of thought of for our guests. So signage is a really big one we started to do a lot more of. But your classic, kind of stationery, everything that would be on the table, your menus, your benchers, your table names, place cards, that kind of stuff.
And I know you're going to do a special guide for our Brides Club members of kind of layouts and stuff, and maybe we can include a section on that as well, just because
of course, yeah,
we don't want to think about anything. We just want to look at something right, take that, done.
Yeah.
So let's talk numbers as well. This is another question we always get asked. How how many, say, per 100 guests, or how does it work? How do we know how many to order for how many guests?
So, our kind of rule of thumb on this is you would take your total day guest numbers and evening guest numbers. You would divide it by 2 and add 10. So if you had 100 day guests, divided by 2 and add 10 would give you about 60 invitations. Obviously, it does depend. Some people are inviting tons of families with loads of family members all under one roof. They'll only need one invitation, so you might have a bit less. But we always advise having more than you need. Purely because, for example, if we are foiling and we produce you 50, you use the 50, but you need one extra invitation, we have to go back to print and make one up again, which is going to cost an awful lot to do. So always have your extras, at least 5 or 10, we would say. And then, if you had 80 evening guests, then do the same. You'd have about 50. So in total, you would end up with about 110 invitations. That's something that everybody, I think, probably more than 70% of people do. They quote us their guest numbers rather than their invitation number. It's one of the first things I check. Is this guest numbers or is this invitation numbers? Just because everything else at the wedding almost is done per head. You quote every other number as your whole guests, and invitations is one of the very few things you don't do per head.
That's right, really good tips. And another thing that I wanted to ask you, just going back to ordering stuff. So because I was in the design and branding world, and I got asked to print to do wedding invitations from time to time. So I remember thinking about numbers. And one little trick that I used to do, I don't know if it's still a thing, because this is now years ago, was I used to tell people when they order their stationery at the same time, because what you're saying about reprinting is so expensive.
Of course.
Always order your spares at the same time as you order everything else. Also to order your thank you cards or your new address cards as a married couple over at the same time, because it goes on the same print run. Or is that something you recommend, or when do you recommend doing the sort of, for thank you cards or your new stationery cards as husband and wife, or wife and wife, or husband and husband?
Sure. Thank you cards is definitely something that, traditionally you've got a year to do your thank you card from once your wedding's over. Apparently so. This is something somebody was informing me of.
Oh my goodness.
I certainly think most of our clients anyway will, I suppose it depends on the finish you want, but a lot of people would like to include maybe a picture of themselves on their wedding day. So they obviously need to wait until they get some form of professional picture image from their photographer. So, you tend to do it after the wedding, but we would certainly tend to have the conversation. They know they want thank you cards. It's in the quote. We've kind of discussed what they might want to do, but we would actually make it for them after the wedding. Obviously, if that's not your thing and you don't want to have your face on a thank you card, which quite a lot of people don't, then you can certainly design something that's just very in keeping with the rest of the stationery, and that can be sent out with your invitation. Because obviously, a lot of the time you will start to get gifts and receive presents really quickly. Or some people want to do it once the wedding is over. They want to have them sent out maybe a week or two after, so that they can get straight onto writing them and thank their guests.
I recommend getting straight onto it. Well,
yes,
it's nice if your guests are nice for you. So just to give people ideas, if they don't want, your light's gone now.
It's a sensors. The sensors. I forgot we have sensor lights.
At least the fire alarm's off. I've got to tell everyone watching that Jack and I came on 10 minutes earlier to prepare, and his fire alarm was blasting out, and he was really worried. I said, don't worry, things that go wrong always make for a good live. People love kind of mistakes and mishaps. So it was only going to go viral with the fire alarm, but it was actually a bit annoying. So thank goodness that stopped literally as we went live, didn't it? So this was our invitation, Jack. I don't know if you've seen it. We used things that we loved. It was just a collage of we loved playing Scrabble, and this is pictures from our parents' wedding and stuff like that, and a very simple layout, and this little monogram that I designed, JK. And then for our thank you cards, we just had the monogram and then our new address as a married couple at the bottom. So we could send it off all at once, and everyone's got different ideas what they want, but I think it's nice to start writing a thank you cards sooner or later. So we've got lovely Rafaela on, who another very happy Smash in the Glass bride that loves working with you. She said, we are super pleased with our invitations from you guys, thank you so much, but she does have a question.
Okay, good.
How long, I think you covered it, but maybe we can just, like I said, it always comes up, so maybe we can just say it for Rafaela. How long before the wedding day should we start thinking about on-the-day stationery? What is the usual cut-off timeline for personalised menus and table plans? Let's talk personalised stuff. So, if people want each guest's name at the top of every menu, or digital table plans and stuff. And is that quite a bit of an extra cost, having things personalised for on the day, or is it only a little bit of an extra cost?
Let me think what to cover first. So,
should we stay with
for those?
Yeah.
Sorry.
Yeah. Should we start with on the day stationery? How long before the wedding day?
Yes. I think on the day stationery. So in terms of when you should start thinking about it, I don't know if that's a slightly different question than actually providing me wording. Obviously your on the day stationery is dictated by your guests, by the numbers, who's RSVP'd, who's actually coming. You need to collate all that information. The easiest way to do that, especially for us, is just an Excel document. Just a big column of all your guests, and then start to think about your tables, your layouts, where you're putting everyone, and depending on if you're having a table plan or doing escort cards is simpler in terms of you just leave it as a big list and you just put a table beside each guest, do it that way. If you're doing a proper table plan, like a layout, then you have to break your guests up into each table, and we tend to just ask for it, table 1, table 2, table 3, table 4, just as a big column, and then we actually will work it out and lay it out for you. When you start thinking about that, as early as you can, I suppose, is the best way to say. As soon as you're able to get your RSVPs confirmed and back. Obviously, things like menus will be dictated sometimes a little bit more by the venue. You have to have your tastings and decide what you're having. If you're giving people lots of options on the day, they're things that you have to kind of, they're all included in your RSVP, so you need all that information first. Then you send it to us. In terms of personalisation, personalisation still falls within 4 weeks before your wedding. We need that wording.
Yeah.
It probably just adds more work to you in terms of collating all your information, getting on an Excel spreadsheet, so like your guest name, starter, main, dessert, if you're doing multiple options for each one. Just big long rows, big rows of columns, and just everyone's choice listed beside their name. So that still falls within that. We can turn around personalised stationery just about as quick as we can turn around non-personalised stationery. It's not really masses of additional time. We still have to design everything and create everything for you. So that's certainly something I would worry about panicking on trying to do super early. Just 4 weeks before is still going to cover that.
Great.
One thing I suppose to think about is if you're getting stationery here and you're taking it abroad, we're working to 4 weeks before you're leaving. We need to be able to make sure we get it to you in plenty of time. So even though your wedding might be the Saturday, if you're leaving the week before, then we're working to the week before to get it to you, unless we're shipping it directly to the venue. Obviously, that's probably obvious to most people, but just something to be mindful of. Don't work to your wedding day if you're not in the country for the last week before your wedding.
And does it cost a bit extra or a lot extra to personalise things like menus and stuff like that, and invitations? I know some people send their invitations with a name and stuff like that.
So, I mean, invitations tend to be, if we're personalising an invitation, to be written in calligraphy. So if our calligrapher is writing on an invitation of £2, if we're making like... Oh no,
there's the fire alarm! It's gone.
I think it's stopped. I nearly sighed so sadly there. If we're personalising a menu, then it's £1 to do a menu with personalisation. And that can cover their meal choice option as well as their naming on it. So, that kind of give you a good indicator. Obviously, certain things will maybe be slightly more or less expensive, but as a good kind of rough indicator for you, that's what you're thinking about doing in terms of personalisation. That would be the kind of cost involved.
I just want to show, 1 second, if I've got one here, what we did, again, just to give people some ideas of what's possible. So with our menus, this is our menu. Now, we didn't personalise the actual menu. The wording was the same on the back. I mean, we had like our vegetarians and whatever, but we didn't put the names. What we did personalise was we wanted every guest to know how much they meant to us that they were there. So every menu also acted as the place name, and they had just like a 1 line or 2 line, but it was a personal message. This is like an in joke my husband has with his friend. And that was underneath.
I love that. Great.
Yeah, and it took an evening. Literally, we had 140 guests. It took an evening to sit together. And you know what? This is 6 years later, and some of our guests, I go around to my friend's house and they still have this on their mantelpiece. So, when people talk to me about, I'm always saying spend does not make for necessarily the greatest of all weddings. It is about thoughtfulness, little touches, something like this that's pretty that you're going to slip into your handbag. We didn't do favours, we just did this. And people like the personal touch. But that's an example of the digital personalization thing, and that wouldn't have cost much extra, would it, Jack? Just to have
no.
So Jenna's watching all the way from New York City, and we love Jenna. She's inside our Brides Club, and she is saying, do you have any suggestions for how to indicate food selection on escort cards? We are only doing the table escort cards per person, no place cards.
Okay. So what they're actually having in their meal?
She's saying, do you have for how to indicate food selection? I guess so, Jenna, if you want to clarify that. I guess there's some options, and
I mean, you could have some fun with that. I suppose it depends. The reason I'm hesitant is I wonder is it for the guests to remind them what they've chosen, or is it for the caterers? Is it a visual representation of the caterer? I suppose that's different, but certainly a really fun way you could do that is you could put the guest's name, and then beneath you could have like little infographics, little symbols, like for example like a little chicken, or like a vegetable, or you could do something fun that way. Or you could just have like you could depending on how big the card was, you could maybe have like S for starter, have the main ingredient of that starter, M for the main ingredient, D for dessert, main ingredient, that kind of idea.
I love that. Yeah.
I suppose there's so many ways you can do this. Depends how many options you're giving as well. But if it was just a simple matter of vegetarian versus the main, then like a little vegetable or a little other symbol, something super simple that could work really well.
She's clarified. She's saying it would be beef, chicken, veggie, or kids. Since we aren't doing places seating, only table seating, I was thinking of doing different types of cactus for each meal in a different wedding colour. Because she's got, she's getting married in Arizona, Tucson, Arizona.
Okay, sure.
I can see your creative juices.
I think it's trying not to talk all night on that. That's great. I love that. That's a cactus. That's amazing.
That's great.
So indicating the colours by the different cactus and colours, is that essentially what she's meaning?
A different wedding colour, different types of cactus for each meal, and a different wedding colour.
Okay, wow. I love that. Yeah. I mean, that fits into that idea of the place card being a colour with a little cactus symbol for that person, and then somebody else may have a different. Also made your table look quite fun. It can be quite colourful and quite fun on the table. I love that. It's a great idea.
Oh, I wish you two could work together.
I can draw that in my mind.
I can see. You just want to run with it now. And Lorna's watching. She's saying illustrations are the best. That's Jack's lovely wife. And we've got Shona Valentine. She's saying we love EY Love, and Jack and Lorna are a beautiful couple. And Irene, how amazing is EY Love? We all love you. You know that. You are. Once you work with Jack, you'll tell everyone about him as well. Amazing. And Lorna. So let's dive into Jewish weddings. By the way, we will come back to things like styling and trends for everyone, but I do want to make sure we've got a segment specifically for our lovely Jewish audience. So why do you love working with your Jewish clients on Jewish weddings?
Oh, lots of reasons. I mean, I certainly, something for me that's very personal is like, I actually love the symbolism of Jewish wedding. I love the different kind of aspects, and the Jewish ceremony itself is really intriguing. I'm not Jewish myself, but I love like the chuppah, and I love what it symbolizes. I love that your home's open to your community, to your family, to your friends. I think there's something about that I love, and I do genuinely think that marriage is something that personally I love, and I think it's really is a sacred thing. It's a beautiful thing, and it's shared between two people, and I love that. And I think that a lot of Jewish weddings have that the symbolism that's involved in it reminds me of how special and personal it is as well. I really do. A lot of our Jewish couples are really stylish as well. They've got great ideas. I love that. I really do. It's so fun. It's like, and oftentimes a lot of details thought about, lots of very personal touches and things that are really trying, I suppose, making your wedding day unique and special. And I think I love that. I love the fact that that's something that is given so much thought. It's the wedding day, it's the invitation, it's every aspect of it. It's thought about and planned, and even so much as other family members get involved. Like we have a wedding we did very recently, had several cups of tea and a sit down and a chat with the mum. And she would come in. She was Glasgow based. Her daughter was London based. She wanted to come in and chat. And we'd just sit, have a cup of tea, and chat through designs and ideas. And I love that. I think there's something really, really nice about that. I mean, I could go on and on and on.
No, it's a family affair, a Jewish wedding.
Yeah, it is, and it's lovely. I just really liked it. And I thought, and her and her daughter both were also just hilarious. They had such banter together, and they had such banter with me, and I got on really well with them. I actually missed our conversations once their wedding was passed.
People are asking to see some of your work, whatever, so I'm going to put your URL in the comments, but wait and watch the live first, and then you can go see their gorgeous work. And there's your work is also in beautiful real weddings all over Smashing the Glass, which we'll put the link in. We're also going to do a lovely recap blog post linking to all that stuff and your work and the film at the top. It's really lovely. I always tell my brides inside our Brides Club to look for vendors that are just as kind of excited about your wedding as you are, and I can see that comes with you. It's lovely. So back to Jewish weddings. So let's talk about the stationery layout. Is there anything that our couples should be aware of that's different for Jewish weddings, or any other? We can talk about the Hebrew phrases, which I can talk about. You can talk about. I know you work with Hebrew typography as and when needed. Anything that we want to cover to do with layout specifically for Jewish weddings?
Yeah, I think obviously your slogan, I think, is came especially more recently. Like, your wedding your way is something that is, I suppose there are no have tos, but there are, obviously, things we do get asked for quite a lot. Is, can we include the Kol Sasson, Jewish names, names in Hebrew underneath English names? We can certainly do that. The Baruch Hashem.
Which I'll just show anyone that's just not sure, who's just starting their stationery. So Up here is Baruch Hashem, which is generally on every Jewish wedding invitation.
I do apologise.
It's generally on every Jewish wedding invitation in the top right-hand corner. That is generally, some people have a Hebrew phrase at the top or sort of beautifully decorated around. Kol sason v'kol kala, kol simcha, all that kind of thing. Or you can choose I've seen invitations where couples have chosen a very special little line in Hebrew that means something to them. I mean, I'd say in terms of musts, that of course there aren't no musts, but I tend to see the Bet Hey generally on a Jewish wedding stationery. Again, your stationer, Jack, in our case, will lead you on that. You don't have to worry about that kind of stuff.
I think traditionally that, like you said, is almost all invitations. I think everything else is, I suppose as well, there's always probably a little bit of that, which is the more not so traditional versus the modern as well. You know, things aren't being done quite the same way all the time, and people don't always want to have everything. We've got one layout that we will show you later on where there's no Hebrew at all in it, and that is obviously very uncommon, but it certainly is done sometimes. But yeah, I mean, I think what we tend to ask for is supply what you want on it, and you know, let us know what you're looking for and what you're wanting. And if you are looking for advice, we will certainly give you advice. We'll weigh in with, well, this is what you could do, this is what could be involved. But a lot of the time with everyone we work with, we don't tend to be like, you have to have. It is very much, we'll give you like a wording guide and what we want you to sort of at least think of, but you ultimately will supply what you want to say and how you want to say it. We can always work that way.
You mentioned something which is a really good point. Dress codes. So are you seeing any really fun ones? Is it still just kind of regular? We often, again, in Brides Club, we get asked for like, I want elegant and I want this, but I don't want to say that. Like anything about dress codes that you want to say?
So this we did actually a wedding that we did that is going to be one of our tonight. One of the layouts was let me think. Was it creative black tie? Is that how she said
that's
it?
Fun.
That was Jane Brood. It was creative black tie. I'm pretty sure that's what she called it.
I love that.
I mean, dress codes are included. Obviously, a lot of people will include them, and they will be quite standard. You know, lounge suits and that kind of thing. But it's fun ways to do it. I suppose as well, it does depend. Sometimes you also get that where if you're getting married, for example, abroad, they'll maybe have a dress code because they want you not to be totally dressed up. It's a little bit more informal. I've probably seen it more that way done recently, where it's very much like we want everyone maybe in a linen and shorts or something. It's quite dressed. It's not so formal. But when we get dress codes in the UK, it tends to be just quite formal wear. There's no have. There's obviously in Scotland they'll maybe put kilts or something on, but you tend not to get that.
One tip that I would say is don't get too creative with the wording of your dress code, because you don't want your guests to be like, oh, what should I wear? And I don't want to be the only one wearing red shoes when I'm not supposed to wear red shoes. So make sure it's really obvious. I mean, we wrote, we didn't want anything standard, and we wrote spring glamour. And we just wanted kind of a bit of fun, and it was fine. We didn't get any questions asked, but I know sometimes when people are a bit lenient with wording, they get bombarded with questions, which is not what you want. And also the thing that you mentioned, two things. I want to talk about little information cards that sometimes with like gift options. Do you put your gift options? I want to talk RSVP options, and also talking about RSVP, online versus card RSVPs.
Right. Okay. Yeah.
Let's talk gift stuff first. So gift wording.
I mean, my advice on gifts is I suppose I would say that you have to give your guests something to go to. Otherwise, you run a very serious risk of getting 25 sets of tea towels. You don't want. Do you know what I mean? Or whatever other kind of gifts that, especially I suppose younger generation. Well, if they don't get any guidance, they'll probably give you like money cards with something in it or something like that. if you've got the older generation, they want to give you something. They want to give you a tangible gift often, and unless you tell them where to go, they will get you something you very likely don't want.
100%.
Obviously, I mean, a lot of things we see, contributions to honeymoons, contributions to marital homes, gift lists. You're still, sorry, what were you going to say?
No, I'm saying you suggest not putting that necessarily in an invitation. You want to keep that lovely, a little card get printed up. Right?
Sorry, I should preface that. An information card, normally we would suggest to keep your invitation clean, the wording you just need to say in your invitation, and put everything on your information cards. Information cards can span anything from gift wording, directions, taxi numbers for the end of the evening, accommodation, directions. It can be filled with whatever you want, but I would always advise that you would give your guests some gifting, just because you'll end up with stuff on not everyone, but certainly some people, you'll just get stuff you just don't need. And I think that you suppose you want to start off with stuff you need. If there's things you really need to get, then your guests will want to come to your wedding and give you something.
Well, that's it. We were really clear that we did not want gifts. We don't want genuinely didn't want anything but our guests at our wedding. We were like, we're not going to do gifts. And then literally a week after we got engaged, we were being given these really bad taste engagement gifts, and my husband and I just looked at each other and we said, we need a gift list, because people, like you say, people are going to buy something. They're going to buy something. So it's just makes sense to create a gift list, or if you've literally got everything, you can do gift lists with experiences, honeymoon fund, that kind of thing, which is actually just cash, but it's a nicer way of saying it. There's all sorts of ideas. Just ask in the comments if you need more ideas on gifts. And let's talk RSVP. And what do you recommend? Little cards, self-addressed envelopes, online? What's happening right now in the world of RSVPs?
Oh gosh, it's still a big split. Plenty of people do a traditional card. Plenty of people do, emails, websites. Websites are definitely growing in popularity. Websites are growing in popularity, especially if you are getting married abroad, or you live in the UK, but lots of family that don't, and you want to have, that would be where you would maybe not have an information card or an RSVP. You would have a website with everything on it. And we're doing a few things at the moment. One girl's getting married in Brazil, and she's UK based, and she's inviting people from the UK over to Brazil. So she's just done a website because it's just simplified that whole process for her, which I understand. If perfect scenario, you're UK based, most of your guests are UK based, and you're inviting them, you're not going somewhere crazy far, then you could totally do an RSVP card and info card. What you just want to get ultimately is a response. Are people coming? Are they not coming? So if you were doing like an email or a website, say for your older guests, you might still get the text message or the phone call. Did that work? Did you get that? If anything, unless it was something you could help them. But I mean, I suppose I'm a stationer. I'm a stickler for a card. I like cards. I like to return my cards. Plenty of our couples will still do a card with an envelope with the address on it.
And there's something lovely about having it plop on the mat, right?
Yes, absolutely.
You're waiting for the first one to get back. And people, in my case, and I hear it's everyone, literally, you always get one or two people do send it the very first day, and you literally just send your invitations out and you're like, oh, I got some cards. It's really exciting.
Yeah, and I think as well, everyone's different, I suppose, but tangibly, one of the things that I think is quite tricky with the wedding is keeping on top of who said yes or no. So it's something when you actually have a physical card, you can actually stack them 1, 2, 3, and you can go through and say, did that person respond? And you can check that way, because best will in the world, you might miss somebody who's responded. So there's a nice thing of actually having physical cards, and then the people who haven't responded, you know who they are and you can chase them up, because there's always going to be a few of those.
Oh, yeah. And the other lovely thing is people tend to write a little line or something on their card, and we've still got our little RSVP card 6 years later, and it's just a lovely thing. I'm also a stickler for that, but I also totally get the idea of online RSVP, especially if you've got several events or abroad and all that kind of thing. I was also going to say something on talking about wedding websites. I also recommend them because they tend to minimize the number of emails and questions you're going to get. Like if you have an FAQ section with literally every possible question that could be asked, dress code, what happens at a Jewish wedding, directions, this, that, the other, hotels for guests, remember, all that kind of stuff, just means that you'll get less emails, less of being bothered. So yeah, I like websites too, but not necessarily for RSVP. It's a really individual feeling, isn't it, Jack? It's just up to the couple. Do people tend to, if they're sending if they are doing RSVP, is it elegant to always put first class stamps, or can you do second class stamps? Does it not matter?
I think I would say we've done quite a lot of weddings recently. So one of our things that we offer is that we also can post stationery for you.
That's brilliant.
We can so we'll do the whole thing. So we design it, print it, package the envelopes, and send it for you. And all of those couples have requested that we put first class stamps on the RSVPs. You certainly can second class as well. I mean, I suppose it depends on the person, but if somebody sends you an RSVP with a stamp on it, they are kind of saying to you, please respond. And you're indicating you want a response. They're making it as easy as they possibly can. They're spending money on it. They're physically doing all that they can to get you to respond. So I suppose from that point of view, you're more likely to get an awful lot more responses a lot quicker, because people literally will get the invitation, open it up, the RSVP is there, stamped, they can tick they're going or not going, put it in, and then take it to the post office.
They don't have to find a website, go in there, Yeah, I completely agree with that. I like the idea of an old-fashioned RSVP card.
Me too, I do. I think there's something really lovely about it, but like you said, I can understand why you would do it other ways, but I think it's the psychology behind it. If you give someone an RSVP and you give them a stamped addressed envelope, I think you're more likely to think, well, I better get that done. I better get that back to them so that no. I think there's that sort of element. If people need to go on their phone or on their computer, there's more chance they will come back to that and put it down. Do you know, it's personal preference.
Is there anything people can do to make sure they get 100% RSVP rate, or are there always going to be those stragglers that just don't RSVP? And by the way, before you answer that, what's your recommended time? So let's say your invitation goes out on the 1st of the month. Well, what date do you give people to reply by? Because you must always give, depending on watching, you must always give a deadline. Please reply by so-and-so date. 100% must.
Yes, I agree. I definitely agree. We've done some weddings, people have thought, I don't want to give them a date. I'm like, but unless you tell them when, it's just not going to happen. I suppose the way I would work that timeline back is your venue will need to know numbers by a certain date. So you take that date, and then you want to make sure that you have people reply to you, and it also gives you a week to chase anyone who hasn't gotten back to you. Because I think, best will in the world, I think it's probably very difficult to guarantee every single person responds. I think it's just
you don't know what's going on in people's lives. They could be on holiday, anything like
exactly. So what I would say is, whenever your venue needs final numbers, as in like a confirmed number, your menu, your food, everything's all done. They have to have that by a certain date. They'll give you a very firm cut-off. You want to work it back. You want to get your RSVP probably about 2 weeks before that date, so that then you've got a bit of time to just make sure everyone's captured and you know what they're wanting and menu choices and stuff. So I would say it's probably that's more guided by the have to. There's deadlines for certain things you cannot miss. Therefore, use that as your hard point and work a little bit in advance of that.
Yeah, the only thing I would say, and this is just from personal experience with our bridesmaid members, is I wouldn't, like, say, send your invitation out on the 1st of the month and ask people to reply by the 28th or something. Like, if people know they've got 4 weeks to reply, they're like, oh yeah, I'll do that next week, and then they just forget about it. Like, I would suggest, personally, I would suggest sort of, 10 to 14 days deadline. Just a personal thought. Tend to get a better response rate. So can you believe we've been talking for almost an hour? And we still haven't covered, we still got styling to talk about, and let's talk trends. People always love to hear what's like hot in the trends, and what are you seeing a lot of, what are you loving personally. I don't know if you've got any examples to show people, or because some people don't always know the terminology, so if you've got anything to hand.
I don't have something right now. I can go grab something.
Yeah, go grab a couple of things.
Give me one thing.
Because not everyone knows what vellum is and foil and all that stuff. I do, because it's from my background, but I'm sure our lovely audience would like to see some examples. And also Lindsay's asking what your favorite items or collections to create are.
Good question.
And then we're also going, before we close up, we are also going to be showing you some great layouts for some Jewish wedding stationery as well, and talking about styling as well, you know, colours, fonts, spacing, designs, how to come up with a design that reflects you. In fact, I'll put that to Jack when he comes back.
Yeah, here we are. I'm just grabbing a few things. Okay.
Can I just start before I forget?
Yes, of course.
I can't believe we haven't covered this yet. Where do we start in terms of getting an idea for what your stationery looks like? So, yeah, starting points to sort of create some pretty stationery. Like, how do you decide on colours, finish, things like that?
Well, obviously, tend to point people towards like people buy things like an Instagram and Facebook. Go onto our website. From our website, it's what we have on our website is just ideas. We call them our collections, but really we're trying to just show you the styles we can offer, the colours we can offer. There are lots of personalization bits. So you'll see different color options for boards and cards. What we tend to say is order samples as a starting point. Actually physically know what you're getting, what you're buying. If there's a specific color you want to see, we don't always have the samples made up in that color, but we'll send you color swatches, pieces of art to show you the colors. It's I mean, the easiest thing to ever do is just phone us, talk to us. We chat you through everything. That's my skill set. I'm good at that. And I know the right questions to ask you to get you to think about what you want to achieve, how you want things to look. And you'll know from talking from us both chatting away, like that is something that quite naturally will come out of a conversation. I'll be like, have you thought about this? Have you thought about that? What colours do you think work here? What colours are you thinking for your wedding? So obviously some brides will have a wedding colour, like a colour they're kind of bringing through the whole event. Traditionally, wedding invitations would be mirrored off your bridesmaid colours, but that's something that isn't sort of necessarily done anymore as much, but some people still want a little nod. So if they're dressing their bridesmaids in blush, they might want to still have an element of blush somewhere, but maybe it's not the whole design. So off the website, look at our collections, get a feel of this kind of style that we offer, what we do, and then probably the next best thing is order some samples and then have a chat with us, give us a phone and talk to us.
Yeah, and in terms of inspiration to inspire your design, just off the top of my head, sometimes the venue can set the tone, a particular piece of architecture, or the colours of your venue. I know one of our Brides Club members, her station was all green and gold because that was quite a big part of her venue. It could come an element of your dress. It could be just your favourite things, like we did. We just, a collection of our favourite things. Just, think outside the box, and then your designer and whoever you're working with, in this case Jack, will filter you down. But things you love.
I certainly think one of the things that we tend to see a lot of is, do I need to have colour? It's a question I get quite a lot. Do we need to have the colours here? And I think some people don't want to maybe commit to a colour because they're maybe scared that, especially if they're planning a save the date, for example, a year before, they're maybe like, I've not quite decided on every single aspect of everything yet. So you can certainly go neutral. Your invitations do not have to be overly colourful. You don't have to commit to a colour. Whites, ivories, these kind of colours are classic. They work with anything really. So there's certainly that part of it. But if there's a certain aspect of your venue, there's a colour you love, there's a thing you love, exactly like you're saying, any of those things, you would let us know, talk to us, and then we would basically figure out, okay, how can we bring that element into the designs, into the invitation? It might not even be the way you might think it might come in. We might come up with an idea that, oh, I never thought about that. That's a really interesting way to pull that element or design in. So, one of the things that's become really, really popular, I hope you can see this.
That's good, yeah, if you hold it there, yeah.
So one of the big things is venue illustrations. Lots of venues are beautiful and are they look stunning when you draw them. So we have our illustrator create a line drawing of the venue, and then we foil it onto the card.
Oh, that's beautiful.
So this is a kind of a customization of our Lana collection on our website.
Yeah.
They also put their information just nice and clean, and on the back, hopefully that's.
I love the foil effect. I really do.
Yeah. So
it's modern, but it feels luxe, doesn't it?
Yeah, and obviously depending on the design, if it's quite a clean design, different ways to achieve things. So that's one of the things we've seen a lot of this year. One of the big trends is illustrations for venues. This here.
I love that.
So this is clear acrylic. I'm just going to put something up behind it so you can kind of see the effects.
I love that.
So clear acrylic is essentially just clear plastic. Which we foil on top of. Hopefully you can kind of see that.
I love that.
Really, really big this year. Definitely more and more people going for that. Karen mentioned vellum. So this is our nude vellum. So this is essentially gives you the same idea, see-through, so you can see behind, you can see through it, but it's slightly more opaque. Slightly less opaque.
And it doesn't. It's not stiff like the other stationery.
No, this is like an actual. This is more like a kind of tracing paper, thicker than a tracing paper, but has that kind of feel to it. Another thing we did recently is an invitation we just created.
I love that! Oh my goodness.
One of were really fun and kind of a bit crazy. This is a holographic foil.
Oh my goodness, with the marble effect. The marble.
So it's a marble board with gold holographic foil.
I'm obsessed with that. Oh my god, can you just keep that going for Oh my goodness. I want to see that one more time. Don't put it away yet. And the back is just the plain, completely.
So that's
plain?
just marble both sides. So they've actually duplexed. So they have put two pieces of board and put them together. So the marble's only so thick, but to then create a more luxe feel with duplex. So that's essentially just bonding two boards together to make it thicker.
For a sort of show, I mean, it's a showstopper, but it's also really sleek and elegant. What would you suggest for an envelope for that one? The same marble.
So they're just going for are they going for black? No, we spoke about black.
Nice.
Black so there's a black envelope with a little address printed on it.
Oh my god.
That's not their envelope, but this is something that is another bit of a trend. Is just doing like something fun to the back of the envelope.
Yeah.
So what they went for was just an ivory envelope, just a super thick ivory envelope.
Yeah.
So it's almost a surprise when it comes out. They wanted something a bit.
People are expecting a normal stiffy, and out comes that.
Yeah, and then out comes this invitation, and everyone was wow, wasn't expecting that.
Can I just say, I'm personally a fan of envelope linings for that little element of surprise as well. I don't know if you've got any samples to show anyone afterwards.
No, actually, that's what this is going to be. I haven't put anything inside it yet, but this envelope is going to have black and gold zebra print on the inside of it.
Oh my God,
give me a second. I'll bring it up a sheet.
So yeah, I love envelope linings. Again, tiny little bit of extra, but they just add that element of surprise and something special that when you're receiving through the post. Again, it depends how into stationery you are. I'm a big stationery person. We wanted to put our budget into it, but it's very individual taste.
So this is
my
big sheet that we're going to chop down and we're going to put into this.
But then I assume the card is quite simple. Like you wouldn't want that with your marble and your rainbow foil and everything.
The card is just a simple blush card with gold. It just says Merci beaucoup on it. That's it. Just super simple.
You choose one element for the wow factor. Otherwise, it's horrible.
I think you can go too extra and everything. If everything's extra and everything's kind of too much, I think you need something that makes the whole thing pop. the whole thing pops, and then you don't know what to look at. Everything, it's just thing after thing, and you become a bit numb to it after.
Yeah. So important.
Another thing that we've done a lot of this year, I don't know how easy this is to see. So this is basically just our big business card, but we've added a gold foil edge to it. It's called gilding.
We can see that. Beautiful.
So
and people can do that in different colours and wedding colours and stuff, can't they, on the side?
Yeah. I mean, so this is gold. You can do any foil colour. There are certain other colours we can also work with, but it tends to be done in a metallic kind of foil. This year we did, I don't have an example of it, unfortunately, we did a black metallic foil on the edge of an ivory board.
Beautiful.
Just looked amazing, so incredible. So that's something that's been really big this year. And then this is the last little fun thing. So this,
I love that.
So this is a light grey printed in white. So that's a digital print in white with neon yellow foil, and then back's just a plain dark grey. But then they also a neon yellow edge. I don't know how easy it is. You're going to see that.
Can't quite see a neon edge, but we're using our imagination.
But yeah, so this is just fun. This was an Ibiza wedding. This actually was written by our calligrapher, so he actually took an idea that she had, and he actually just created, just totally free-handed and kind of made something, so which we turned into a plate. So we foiled this part, and this is the digital print in white. But just to show you the kind of idea of like two-tone colours.
And also to show people all the designs you've showed us, can work for a black tie wedding, they can work for an informal wedding. I mean, what I love about stationery is it is like the first element of your wedding. It does set the tone, but you can use it to surprise, you can use it to be very traditional if you want to. It's really whatever you want, like we always say, but don't think if you're having a very straight kind of black tie wedding that you've just got to go for your regular swirly writing and everything. You can use beautiful crisp fonts like Jack showed for a black tie event. Absolutely,
definitely. I mean, even some like this black and gold. If you're having a really, really nice evening event or something, this works. Something simple, doesn't have to be, like Karen saying, super traditional text. This will work. You're going to give this to someone and they're going to think, wow, this is, it works.
Should I show some of the layouts now?
Yes, let's pull some layouts out. So there'll be some slightly more traditional style. There's one especially, it's a little bit more traditionally kind of pulled together.
So let's start with the first layout, Rachel and Michael. Is that Rachel Flax?
Yes.
Okay. So why have you chosen this one?
So this is an example of a pocket fold. Actually, I'm going to just pull these up so I can see them as well. Sure. Hold on a second. So this is basically, I really just wanted to show this because it's an example of a pocket. So pockets are beautiful because you fold them up, you put them in an envelope. When you take them out, you open them up. You've your invitation on your left hand side, and then you've got a pocket which you can put lots of information into. And we stack them so that they're done by height. Something about that I think is it's lovely because you can give people lots of information. We do a lot of these for weekend events where you've got multiple things happening. It's great for an RSVP goes in, say an information card and a detail card of the information card's general information. Detail cards are specific to each day. There might be certain things going on. Maybe the guys are going off to do one thing. Maybe the girls are going off to do something else. There's so many options with this. And I just love the fact that it kind of all comes together and it works. It's the invitation's framed really beautifully, especially Rachel's ones. Once we completed that, just we opened up and I thought this is beautiful. It really, really works.
It really does.
It's just, I just like stationery. I'm probably just showing off how nice I like stationery.
You want to move on?
Yeah.
We can move on to this one, but yeah, I'm really delighted you showed this because. We haven't seen these examples in the ones you showed us, and I didn't do anything like this. So it's really nice to see that option of the pocket fold. Really, really lovely idea. And I love the contrast of colours, the blush with the grey, and then was it foil, the gold?
The foil was in gold, yeah. The foil was
beautiful.
Gold.
Really,
it was a mixture of gold and like a dark grey digital print, so that the names kind of popped off the page. That was quite an intentional thing.
Stunning, absolutely stunning. So number 2, Emma and James.
So this is an example of. Oh, sorry, give me a second.
So I should just say these are all for Jewish weddings. What we're looking at.
Yes,
right?
yeah. So this was a nice example of a Jewish wedding we did very recently, but they didn't actually use any Hebrew text on it, and it was just to show, I suppose, that a couple of things. I mean, the actual invitation shown there is in the acrylic. So this material here, this was done in this.
Oh, really? That's gorgeous.
Yeah. That's what they had for their invitation, and then the RSVP had a monogram on the back, and it was in an ivory board, and the guest information was in an ivory board, all in gold foil, with the E&G on the back of the RSVP, the guest information, and the envelope. So just to sort of show you also monograms and how you can pull something personal in for your names. If you want something that's like a little motif or something that you can maybe use in other parts of the wedding as well, that's a nice way of kind of bringing all that through. And using it through even your day stationery. They had it on their place cards, a little E&G in their place cards.
Yeah, I'm a big fan of monograms for that. Yeah, it just threads everything, doesn't it? We even got little circular stickers done with our monogram and put it on the back of our thank you card envelopes, and it just ties it all. I love a monogram.
Yeah. So yes, that was really just a very modern presentation of using acrylics. The whole thing had a very modern feel, but then I think I quite like the classicness of the monogram. It felt a little bit more traditional. It was just, it kind of tied it together. I like that. I thought that was a really nice design, especially when you see it all together. It looked beautiful.
I bet, yeah. Let's move on to the third one, Julie and James. Oh yes, we featured this wedding last month on Smashing the Glass. I'll put a link in while you're talking.
So, I mean, Julie and James, to be honest with you, the reason we're showing this is actually just the use of colour. I really like this. I really like the fact that the invitation was printed in rose gold on the marble that we just showed. And then the back was on a nude metallic board, so it was duplexed, but it had a nude metallic with rose gold on one side and the rose gold on the marble on the other. Their band had their names on it, and it wrapped around the whole kind of design, and everything went in, slid in behind it. So the RSVP card, the information card, the envelope, everything went in behind the band. Beautiful. So when it came out, all you're seeing is the band and the invitation. Just loved their use of colour. Julie was very particular on, I wanted to have this look and this feel. So we adapted what was our Sophia design and created this design for them, which was very unique to them.
And was it a postcard size, sort of A5 or a bit smaller?
So the invitations most of our standard invitations are 7" by 5". So it's in between A6 and A5. I prefer them to the hand. They're nicer. A5 has something so very big.
A bit too big, yeah.
Then I like the 7" by 5 size. The RSVP and the information card were both. The RSVP was postcard, and it was slightly smaller than the A6, so that we could stack the 3 cards together. Invitation, the information card, and the RSVP all sit 1, 2, 3 on each other behind the band.
Stunning. And one more layout just to show our audience what's possible again. Jane and Adam.
Yes, so this was a wedding that was also featured on Smashing the Glass.
Yeah,
I mean, Jane just had. She came to me. She wanted green. She wanted white and gold. And I said, okay, do you want to do green in the card? No. How do you want to do green then? So we kind of chatted back and forth, and although we don't have it in our layouts today, what we decided on was green would go within the envelope, and we printed like a green, basically a block green colour with white proteas, which we then cut. So similar to this kind of a big sheet that we then cut out the shapes and put them into the envelope, and we wrote the guest names on the envelopes in green calligraphy, like a dark green calligraphy. Wow. So everything else, all the invitations, the RSVP, everything else was very classic white and gold, but with just this little touch of colour, so that everything could stand on its own without any colour, but the whole pack had the green, just little touches of that green flowing throughout.
And I can see your communication with the clients is really, really key and important to the whole design process, isn't it? You love the relationship with a client. And I think that is one of the biggest reasons why I love recommending you, because it just brings out the best in the I mean, I know, again, having designed in the past, is the better you know someone, the better the design. It's as simple as that. And you're never going to kind of just, this is what you've ordered, here you go. It's just not like that with you guys, is it?
No, I mean, so we actually met, we were down in London for Brides to Show, and Jane had said, oh, I see you in London, could I meet you? And so I popped out when we were setting the show up and had an hour with her in Starbucks, just as an initial conversation, because I definitely do like, if as much as I can, to get in front of people. If I can't, then we'll do something like Skype. I'll sit with you, I'll show you ideas, we'll talk options. Usually, as I said, I know the questions, I've done it so long now, I know the questions to ask, and this is where I get excited. This is my place. I love this.
You're still thinking about the cactus and the name cards.
This is what I'm good at. This is what I like to do. I love the conversation. I love the getting your information out your head. You know, some people maybe know what they don't like, but they maybe can't explain what they do like. So that's when you can show examples. But do you like this? No. Do you like that? Oh, I like maybe the font. And then you build a picture. And then that's kind of, you know, a lot of the time how we'd end up designing. You know, some people want to adapt the design you have, not a problem. Some people want to kind of create something, but they want to use something as a base first, and then we basically just build on top of it. You know, this is where I love it. This is what I'm excited about this part.
Well, you've really taken the sort of mystery out of it all today. I think we've covered so much, and this is going to be amazing. You know, not just for our live audience today, but anyone watching replay now and in months to come. There's just so much you've helped with today, and I recommend Jack hand on heart to work with. He's just a dream, as you can see. What is your, if you had to give just one to conclude, just kind of one piece of advice or thinking about when people think about their wedding stationery, what would you like to tell them?
Oh, what a question! What a question!
I should have given you this in advance. I didn't ask you. No, it's just come to me because I just think we've covered so much. But if someone's just watching for 1 minute right at the end, and you know, is it to do with being creative? Is it to do with being, you know, it's such a special part of the process. Like I say, it's the thing that sets the tone for the event.
Oh gosh, it's a really good question. So I think certainly part of the advice depends. Some people come in, and my first thing is always the advice of don't be panicky, don't freak out, don't stress, because it's your wedding day. It's a special day. If you come, especially to someone like me, you're coming in with ideas, with thoughts, and my job is to take all your ideas and all your thoughts and to put it into a cohesive kind of thought, to put it down on paper, to create something for you. I think it can be very easy to get quite like, oh, if I done this right, if I done that right, and I think there's no wrongs. And part of our process is where we talk you through it is we're asking the questions to make you think of the things you might miss. Because ultimately, no matter, you might have been to loads of weddings, you might not have been to weddings, but you've never done it before mostly, and I think it can feel very overwhelming and very daunting. But I think that the joyous part is when you see someone, I see it all the time, they come in, they're maybe a little bit stressed out, they've got loads of ideas, they don't know what to choose, and they leave our studio and they think, oh, okay, we've chatted, I've maybe got some homework, I know the things I've got to go and ask or think about. But don't panic, nothing's lost, everything is workable. Do you know, it doesn't matter your time scale, it doesn't matter if you're, you know, you've maybe got people with opinions, maybe in your family side or whatever. You want to make it your day, you want it to be special, but you can probably get to a nice happy medium place with everyone, that you're getting something that especially that you want, but is being thoughtful and kind of mindful of others as well. You know, and just don't panic, I think, is the best piece of advice. Weddings can feel stressful and people get super stressed during the planning process, and I think you've always got to come back to it, but it's a special day and it's a really important day for you, and don't let yourself get totally taken away by the kind of worry.
There's this obsession that things have to be kind of perfect. The stationery's got to be the best stationery anyone's ever seen, and the food's got to be the best food anyone's ever tasted, and the flowers have, and you have to live them. And it's such a that's what creates the stress and
it can be very consuming, I think, as well. And I think, and I understand, I get it. Don't get me wrong. I love things to be perfectly done right.
Yeah, but it's not.
It's not the desire for things to be done well. Yeah. It's then letting it take over, and actually you worry about it and you think about it so much that it actually maybe starts to take away from it. You don't want to have that. So that's why you want to, know your suppliers, work with the right suppliers, be comfortable with the people you choose, the venue you choose. All of those things are very important. If you get a good rapport from someone, if you have a conversation with someone and they get you, that's probably a good indicator that you're going to probably quite enjoy working with them.
Yeah, absolutely. You've got to have the chemistry as well as like the portfolio. You've got to feel that you want to work with this wedding vendor and that you trust them and that you can don't feel embarrassed to ask them any little silly question. If you feel embarrassed to ask them any stupid little question, then they're not the right vendor for you. You've got to feel that real comfort and connection, and also obviously love their portfolio. That's a given, but the chemistry has to be there, and you've got to want to work with them in the lead up time, and then it shouldn't be stressful.
Definitely, no question is stupid or silly because there are so many things you don't know, and that's why you work with vendors, because we do. Exactly. We are here to help you, guide you. So if you are wondering, how do I invite, or who invites, or whatever, ask. Don't worry about that, because I would rather you ask me. I can give you the information you need, and then
Absolutely. I don't
think you get kind of twisted about any of that.
Well, I think couples are very lucky if they get to work with you, and that's why we've been recommending Jack and the whole team at EY I Love for years now, and we have so many happy brides. Some of them have been kind enough to comment tonight, and very generously also Jack has kindly gives a very generous 10% discount to all members of Smashing the Glasses Brides Club. I'm going to put the link in the comments, which is a very exclusive discount. We're very proud to have that for our Brides Club members. And also, I know you're going to be producing a kind of guide, aren't you? A stationery guide for Jewish stationery layout, names, on the day, what you need and stuff. So if you're not yet in our Brides Club, you can join at brides.smashingtheglass.com. We'd love to help you, guide you towards your day, your way, and you get discounts and guidance and help and all sorts of community and all sorts of fabulous stuff. Come check it out. It's just been amazing. I think the reason it was long is because there is a lot to cover, and I wanted to make sure that we covered everything, and I can't believe we haven't done this before. I really can't. It's been so fantastic. Is there anything that I've left out that you want to say, or do you think we've covered it?
I think we've covered a lot. I think we've done a good job.
The fire alarm can start now. We're done.
Yep. And like you said earlier on in the comments, if anyone has comments, if you tag me, I'll do my best to try and respond to everything.
Absolutely. We get a lot of people watching on replay with the time differences, and obviously we understand not everyone's free to watch live. So Jack is here to help, and we would absolutely love to help with anything big or small. And obviously I'm going to put Jack's details in the comments, but I know you've got a gorgeous Instagram account as well. What's your Instagram, so I can put that in the comments too?
It's EY I Love Studio.
Okay, I'm going to put that in the comments. And actually the wedding on Smashing the Glass right now is features Jack's stationery. Who was it yesterday? I can't even remember. Claudia. Hang on, in Spain, right? They got married in Spain. So exactly. Wherever you are in the world or wherever you're getting married, don't hesitate to contact Jack. I'll put all the details in the comments. So it's instagram.com/EYI Love Studio, and I've also put the URL in. And I love this guy, and I love the work, and I just love working with you guys and recommending you. So thank you for coming on today and helping everybody.
Thank you very much.
All right, so you stay on for a second. I'm just going to close up on the platform. So thank you, everybody. I think you can agree that was amazing. I'm really, really proud of this, what we've done tonight. I think it's literally no stone unturned on Jewish wedding stationery. And if we have left anything out, comment, ask. We are here to help. So that's it from me tonight. I'll catch you again soon. Bye.